dramatic revelations. Some truths, some secrets cannot be concealed. Hi, I'm Penny Dix, astrologer and life coach, and welcome to this dramatic full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, in-depth look via Gozo in the house to help you understand the enormity of this powerful energy. This total lunar eclipse is actually on May the 16th, which just happens to be my birthday. Now, that's quite interesting because this means that in my natal chart, the full moon total lunar eclipse is opposite where my natal sun is, in Taurus. How will that play out for me or anyone else who has personal planets close to this exact degree? I just want to say something about eclipses because they, in days gone by, they presaged enormous change. The ancients paid a lot of attention to the moon's light being shadowed, or indeed with a solar eclipse, the sun's light being shadowed, because, and what used to happen is incredibly significant events would take place around this energy. For example, the death of kings, the death or the change of the guard of leaders. So I just give you that as a kind of headline to get just a flavour of what this energy is about and how it may play out in our own personal lives. How are you? Are you feeling that you're in a tsunami of change? I am, but then it is exactly opposite my natal sun. And that is part of what the experience is for me. But this tsunami of change, and certainly I'm learning from this, and I'll tell you some of my own personal information just to help you kind of see what might be happening in your own lives. And even though it might be diluted, this energy might be diluted in a way, I think sometimes it helps to show an example of how it's playing out within someone's chart. It's a tsunami of change. Full moons are always about endings. Full moons are always about clearing. A full moon eclipse is very much about change, endings. That which does not serve us well needs to go. So whether it's stuff, whether it's a relationship, a job, a work colleague, look at how those relationships serve you. Do they feed your soul? If not, then maybe it's time to let them go. Because we have to work constructively with this kind of energy. The sun in Taurus, conjunct my sun, is also conjunct the North Node. This is about our collective destiny. This is where we are going. This is where we are looking towards to fulfill and allow our personal goals, dreams to unfold. For the collective, for the planet, this is about, it's about the energy of the earth, because it's Taurus. And it's also got that quality of, I wonder whether, this is what I'm wondering, whether the earth will groan, whether the earth will growl, whether the earth will rebel against what it may see, Mother Earth may see as our inability to take good care of our Earth Mother. So what other energy is going on? Because Mars, our planet of assertion and energy, is nearly conjunct the planet Neptune. Neptune has no boundaries. Neptune is mystery. Neptune is our intuition. Neptune's dark side can be virus, illness, poisons. They're both in Pisces. Now, Mars doesn't sit well in Pisces. Mars is uncomfortable. Mars, Mars is drowning in the Piscean waters. Conjunct Neptune. What are we going to see unfold through the power of this lunar eclipse? That, that just brings about dramatic change to do with, I think it's interesting that in the news, I've noticed that North Korea is now having its personal experience of COVID. This Mars-Neptune energy could be somehow connected with that. They're not doing so well with this energy, and they, right from the start, refused help or refused vaccine help. And I'm not saying I'm for or against the vaccine. It is what it is. And we're all entitled to our own views on that. Jupiter is now in Aries. Jupiter is our planet of expansion, of luck, of opportunity. And it's in what we call an outer sign conjunction with Neptune still. It's been conjunct Neptune for a while, and of course Mars. They're actually making a nice aspect, a helpful aspect to the full moon lunar eclipse. And I think this energy is about the necessary clearing of the decks that needs to take place. Let me tell you what's happened to me, because it is really, I think, quite super interesting. And it's nothing overtly particularly kind of dramatic, although it is for me. I'd been away for a few days in the UK. And before I went, I was aware that I had a little bit of a moth problem in my wardrobes. But I thought, they'll go. I kind of buried my head in the sand a bit. So what happened was I came back from my trip to the UK, and this was like Day of the Triffids. This was like aliens had taken over my apartment. There were moths in drawers, in cupboards, in clothes. So I had to get hold of the moth exterminator. I call him Mothman now. And he told me what I had to do was to package up, put in bin liners, all my clothes, all the contents of the drawers in the rooms that are affected, and clean everything. This is like an insurmountable task. How do I do this? So at the moment, the way things stand, it looks like the moths are probably departing. But why I tell you this story is because it's about clearing. It's about clearing out. I have been given an opportunity by this lunar eclipse to clear out a whole load of stuff that probably I've been holding on to for years and years and years. And actually that is what is going to set me free. Because I wouldn't probably do it if I wasn't forced to do it. So it is interesting. So you might find in your own lives similar kind of events of clearing appear around this time. And one way to work with the energy is literally take control of it. Go and sort out a cupboard on Monday. Sort through the things drawer, the sort of the man drawer, the drawer with all those bits in that we really don't know what they are, and menus from 10 years ago for takeaway. It's that kind of energy on a mundane level. But what also this energy tells us is that what leaves our lives at this time is not only necessary and timely, but it will ultimately be beneficial. We've also got the presence of Saturn, our planet of boundaries and rules. Saturn is in Aquarius and is urging us through its tough angle to the Sun and the Moon in Taurus, the Moon in Scorpio, to take our time and have faith in what may be being stripped away. You know, the famous words in Star Trek, the TV series, come to mind about Saturn's energy. Resistance is futile. This eclipse is 90 minutes long. That's quite long for an eclipse. I think in some parts of Southern Europe or Western Europe, it will be visible. So it's going to be more visible on the 15th and the early hours of the 16th of May, if you want to get up and try and kind of have a look. Scorpio is the sign of death and rebirth. So we might actually lose dearly loved public figures. But we could certainly see power shifts with leaders, because I think some of them are not going to survive this kind of energy. And I'm certainly not going to speculate about where that is, who that is, what that could be. We will have to just see what unfolds. But I think the best use of this energy on a personal level is to go within, to be brutally truthful with ourselves about who we are. It's about what needs to receive closure, be it a relationship, a destructive habit. It can be any kind of situation in our lives which, as I said earlier, really doesn't serve us. Scorpio full moons, and especially eclipses, can be probably the most powerful because of the depth of feeling. And an eclipse just exaggerates that energy. So before I go on to your individual zodiac signs, just to give you the heads up as to where the full moon, which part of your life the full moon is most likely to be affecting, do not be surprised if shocking secrets get revealed around this energy. For self-protection, honour your truth. Don't allow yourself to get involved in shady dealings or bad karmic decisions. You have to stay in touch with the light that for the time being is going to be hidden. Hold fast to truth. The economy we've seen in the last few days is like this. It's very unsteady, and it will continue to be a little bit erratic around this eclipse energy because we have the axis of Taurus and Scorpio. They are very much about finance and money and other people's money, amongst other things, but it's one of the areas of life that they rule. Don't get caught in fear. Remember that what goes down must also go up. So let's have a look at your individual zodiac signs. So I'm just going to tell each sign where this full moon eclipse, and as I look out the window as I'm doing this live on Facebook, and this is a few days before the full moon, I can actually see the moon. It's not quite dark here yet in Gozo, and I can see the moon, and it's not quite full, but it's kind of looking down at me going, you better get this right or there'll be trouble. So I'm just going to tell you which part of your life you're most likely to expect changes with this full moon. So for you, Aries, because the full moon is in Scorpio, it's on the axis of specifically money, other people's money, your own finance, your self-worth. Is something worth what you may go through to get a debt repaid, for example? Is it worth your peace of mind? Those are the kind of things that can come up with this kind of energy. And it's also about endings, but they always bring new beginnings, because what gets cleared away leaves room for what needs to be in your life now to come in. So don't hold on to what really has gone past its sell-by date. Taurus. Well, of course, this full moon lunar eclipse for you is in your opposite sign of Scorpio. And it's in the part of your chart to do with significant relationships. Taurus. What needs to change in your relationships? It doesn't necessarily have to be so dramatic that somebody leaves or you end a relationship dramatically. But what changes need to take place? How, with a particular significant relationship, could you use the Pluto energy in this full moon to transform a current relationship into something that can take you forward into the future? It's like a way of being of a relationship, the way it's kind of jogged on over many months, many years, needs to end for the new to come in. Gemini. For you, Gemini, this is very much about the inner you and your kind of working routine. I think you've known for some time, Gemini, that certain things in your working life have to change. And it seems to me that this particular eclipsed full moon is giving you the opportunity to dive deep down to the very sort of bottom of that muddy pond and find what it is you really want for your day-to-day routine, for your work, for your passion in life. That's what it's encouraging you to do. But what it's saying is you've got to go within first. You have to do that inner work. It's so important. Without it, we just skim through life. Cancer. This is in the part of your chart, Cancer, which is about fun, parties. It's about creative projects. It can be about love affairs and romance. So, is a relationship going to change from something that has been quite casual to something more permanent? That could be a positive experience of this full moon energy. And it may be something that you really can't believe could happen because it's an eclipse. So you kind of go, no, that won't happen. He, she, it, they won't want me. Why not? Maybe you're just what they need. Leo. For you, Leo, it's at home. It's interesting because I'm a Leo ascendant, so that means that this full moon lunar eclipse is in my part of my chart to do with home, and I'm having all this terrible experience with moths and clearing out. So for you, Leo, it may be an opportunity to clear out, to move, or to make decisions about, is this where I want to be for the next 5-10 years? Is this where I want to be for the next year? Because maybe, Leo, you have to move. And that could be on lots of levels. You're a fixed sign, Leo. Where do you need to move to? Where do you need to be? Where needs to be the right place that you really feel is home? Virgo. Virgo. For you, this energy is about your kind of the way you communicate. Virgo, you're a sign that worries. You're a sign that can suffer from anxiety. And because it's in that part of your chart where you will ruminate and overthink, this is like a golden opportunity to stop it, to just kind of pull yourself up and go, I can't keep doing this to myself. I can't keep overthinking and ruminating about the what ifs and the it should or it shouldn't or I don't know what to do next kind of attitudes and anxieties. So Virgo, find a way to go within. You might need to stretch your education. That would be good use of this energy. Find some kind of book that really appeals to you, whether it's fiction or non-fiction. You might find some kind of answer to what you are seeking, just quite randomly in literature. Libra. Whoa, so Libra, this is about your finances. Libra, if you've been overspending or perhaps just your budgeting has got a little bit out of balance, which is unusual for a Libran, this is an opportunity to balance the books. It's a little bit like there may be part of your finances that you are hiding yourself from, that you don't actually want to have to acknowledge that maybe you've overspent a bit or you've just not quite calculated your budget in an appropriate way. So this full moon is saying enough is enough. Change what you can change, let go and restructure what needs to be restructured. Scorpio, 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 you secretive kind of private person. This full moon is in your sign, as you only too well know, because I would imagine This has been, whether you're a Scorpio sun, ascendant or moon, if you know what your sun, ascendant and moon is. If you don't, there are many websites. You put your time of birth in, your date of birth in, place of birth, and it will give you the information. And if you don't know, or if you can't do that, just direct message me, because honestly, it really only takes me a few minutes to work out, and I'm happy to do that for free. So, but Scorpio, this is about dramatic change for you personally. You have got to, this is about you turning your life inside out. This is about you coming out of your cocoon. You need to, it's like you need to give birth to yourself again. You really do need to make some significant changes in how you feel about yourself and how you present yourself to the world. Start valuing yourself more. Value the relationships in your life that do serve you, and get rid of the ones that don't. Because if you don't do it willingly, they will be taken away by the cosmos. And it's much better for us all to be in charge of these energies. Sagittarius. This is very much an inner journey for you, this Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse. It's an opportunity for you to do something which you don't always find that easy, which is to go within. Well, you probably do, but you don't really talk about it much. You do seek the truth. And I think you're facing up with this full moon some personal inner truths. You may not share your understanding or experiences with others, but you know what? As long as you get it, as long as you get what this transit is about for you, then it's okay. Capricorn. Capricorn. Well, this is to do with your sort of extended circle, your friend group. Do you need to do a little bit of discreet culling of your friend group? Or just, it doesn't have to be anything dramatic. It may just be just moving away, or just kind of not being in contact so much to people that don't get you. And you know, I'll say this for all the signs. It's so important to have people that get us, that really get who we are. And if they don't, then actually it's really difficult for that relationship to work. So Capricorn, think about that. Aquarius. For you, Aquarius, this is about your work, your passion, your career. There are going to be significant changes in the way you work. You already are aware that these are going to start coming in, and I think if you can raise your vibration, your energy to that higher cosmic level which Aquarians can really tune into, then you will see that this will really serve you well to make the changes you need to make in your working life. If there is a particular path that is not good for you, let it go, or delegate. Do what needs to be done to streamline your career, your kind of path in life to suit you. And finally, we come to, and of course I always love doing this, my Pisces fishes. Pisces, where are you off to? I think you're making some quite dramatic changes in your life. To do with, that there are several areas this could be to do with. I think you might be realizing that you've actually completed a kind of path of education for yourself and getting the understanding and realization. It's a bit like when the moon comes into the light again after the eclipse, it's as if the light comes back to you, and you see far more clearly how your kind of your knowledge, your ability to connect with your inner truth, the ability to connect with your authentic self manifests. You also, on a mundane level, might be making some very definite decisions about travel. I'm going to leave it on that note. I'm going to say thank you so much for joining me tonight for this in-depth look at the full moon total lunar eclipse in Scorpio. And I'd like to thank my host, or hosts, which is Gozo in the House, for all the wonderful support they give me. They are a super online digital magazine. If you have not checked it out yet, please do, and subscribe to their magazine and subscribe to their YouTube channel. And while you're on YouTube, I would be super thrilled if you could subscribe to my channel too, where this video will be available from tomorrow if you've missed it on Facebook or on Gozo in the House. And check out some of the other videos on our mutual channels, because there's some really interesting information out there. So I really wish you well. Don't fear this lunar eclipse. It's a bit like that saying, and this too shall pass. Bye for now.